I will quickly start. Basically, what I'm presenting here is the Singapore startup community. I realize a lot of the big name, big vendors come here, but very few from the Singapore startup community. So there is one humble attempt from our side to tell what do we do and how do we use AI and data in conjunction with AI to create solutions. And the part that I'm going to talk about is on the finance side. So of course, all of you might have used AI, you use AI for marketing. You are okay, like all of you might have seen Agoda ads on YouTube, like the guy's face does not even look like a human's face, but you are okay because it is a marketing ad, you don't care about it. But when you create a tool for finance team or teams which need a lot of accuracy, the whole part of AI being an probabilistic model actually impacts a lot. Like imagine you are creating a balance sheet for a company and you are a tech company, you want to create something with AI and you realize that the entire assumption was wrong because it was done with AI. And that's one very big hesitation that we have seen Singapore being an fin hub of Asia. Even though we do talk about AI a lot, practically if you go talk to businesses, the banks of the world, the financial institutions, the trust on AI is very less because they don't know what the AI will predict, which is pretty similar to the talk that the EDB the team was giving earlier here, or even what the Google team was talking about. So here I am presenting what do we do and how does it make sense to have a trusted AI or trusted solution, something as good as what your finance team will do. Quickly telling the challenges, and in the interest of time, like this was 30-minute session, I will try to squeeze it into 15 minutes. So if I'm going too fast and if you are curious, please feel free to ask me. I will be sitting here in the audience. There are a lot of tools, a lot of technologies, there are a lot of data silos. Like I have been speaking in this events, like in this particular event, this is the third time that I'm speaking. In this particular stage, maybe it is the sixth time that I'm speaking. Many times we come and we talk about, hey, why should you have data warehouse or why should you have a metadata? And what you realize is most of the times when you are having an AI model, this is all starting to make sense because now you need not a human. Like if you had a BI was still consumed by a human. So even though your BI report was not exactly correct, it was directionally correct, there was a human consuming it who can interpret the information. But when we are talking about more automated way of decisioning, all of these different data points are making sense. You have your metadata, you have your data quality checks, you have your data warehouse, which is now assisting your AI models to take the right decision. And that is what I'm basically trying to tell here. The expectations are very different. When you are actually working on an AI project, your expectation is that you are saving on time, you are increasing the productivity, you are making teams do something that they were not able to do before. And what typically all finance team, regardless of the size of the organization, do is you create beautiful dashboards for them. They will download it in Excel and they will do their analysis in Excel. Even if you go and Google for any listed company's financial report, it will be a grid report, no matter how good their data warehouse was or how good their AI was. And this has been, one of the number one issue here. Like if you see the manual data processing, it can be as simple as you coming for this event and you took a Grab ride and you want to expense it back. Now this is an physical receipt. You have to take a screenshot of it. You have to manually fill it in your Concur or whichever system to get the claim back. And there is always an human entry part of it. You have a lot of fragmented systems. So if some of you use corporate cards, the ride you took has a transaction in your corporate card that your finance team is seeing, and then maybe at the end of the month, they're chasing you to attach the receipt. But that whole attaching part is manual because it is with you in some of the email, or you'll have to open your Grab app, take the screenshot of it, which is also a very good example of the fragmented system that we have. And also, as the data volume grows, of course, you as an individual is doing it, but imagine your company is like 10,000 strong and all of these 10,000 are submitting claims. Imagine the manual processes that your finance team has to go through. And that's when basically we have a quick slide. I will quickly walk it over in the interest of time, like what does it help? Like it reduces the error, it increases the efficiencies of the team, and this is actual data points. We have done surveys and also by a lot of independent providers that actually it increases productivity and efficiency by almost 50%. And also it enables a lot of real-time analysis. For example, you have a model and suddenly everyone in your company is doing grab claims. Now this is something that your finance team should be aware of so that they don't see that as an fraud, or they don't see that as an anomaly, because there was a company event for which everyone was taking grab. And this is basically the solution that we have built. Just to give an overview of it, we have real-time data ingestion from any kind of source. It might be the marketing campaigns that we are running, the attribution that we are getting from Google or Facebook, the advertisement spend that we are doing, what the users are clicking on the app or website, like how the finance teams are navigating in the website, of course, whether they're approving or declining a transaction. All this data, we are actually using a lot of change data capture, which is famously known as CDC, to pump it into our warehouse. And we try to give as many attributes for financial data as possible. So financial data, many times people perceive is when you have spent money. So spending money is the last leg of your financial transaction. There is so much before it. Like someone was trying to increase the budget. Maybe you have logged that the budget of the team is $50, but someone was trying to do $51 of claim. Now this claim rejected. The finance team should know that maybe the budget has to be increased, otherwise this person won't be able to take the taxi to work or taxi to meet the claim. And this is what we have modernized quite a lot on our side. And again, modernization is something which never ends. Like you can spend thousands of dollars in modernization. We have a lot of vendors here. Everyone is pushing for modernization. But for us, modernization basically means a platform which can handle as much varied data sources that you have. So in our example, our data ingestion system runs for less than $1,000 a month, and we are able to get data from any kind of systems. Like it might be transactional, or it might be clickstream, it might be advertisement sources that I was talking about. The emphasis on getting data faster and better. So faster, again, why would it matter for finance team? Because gone are the days where companies actually do month-end book closing. Most of the times these days, the new age companies actually close books weekly. And for that, they actually need to do reconciliation daily. Better basically means the quality has to be there. So you are not just collecting the data without having a quality check on it. You are actually running the quality as you are getting it. And all of this is also powered by AI. Like you might have heard AI creating an advertisement or AI for BI, but we actually in work also use AI for our ETL jobs. We use AI many times to flag if the source data has changed. And that's how we try to get better in the data that we capture. And we use Google Cloud. And why do we use Google Cloud is that we find only Google having a solution where the spreadsheets, which are favorite of any finance teams, can have an AI built in. So you don't have to build another llama or another model which is asking you to attach the file. You open the spreadsheet is connected to your warehouse, it has all the security built in, it has the AI model built in. So a finance team can come in, choose from one of the predefined questions and get data from BigQuery or the other connected sheets live, get the reconciliation done, get the alerts done, and even have a conversational way. So for example, the finance team wants to ask that which team has the largest increase in food and beverage claims month over month. And this is what, using the Gemini model and using the data warehouse we have, so we are able to feed in a lot of context to the question rather than training our own model, which is very expensive. Like the presenter before me was actually talking about creating their own model. But if you are in Singapore, the availability of GPUs is so hard that you won't be able to even train your own model. Even if you're on Google Cloud or AWS Cloud, like what a lot of us already are struggling with is any of the Gemini 2.0 model onwards are not even hosted in Singapore. You have to actually send your query outside, mostly in US. Anthropic models, for example, are not even available in Singapore. So a lot of theory that we also hear from a lot of vendors are actually not practical here if you look at the local data context, the local availability of GPUs, and so on. And just giving an example on what do we do, like this is many times perceived as an OCR. OCR is optical character recognition, but OCR is not a simple dumb OCR these days. Like during the capture, you are actually storing the entire document so that later on, if you wanted to extract more information from the invoice that you initially did not, you can also get it done via conversational UI. It is able to categorize information, some things which are not already in the document. The AI models can categorize your spends, your different line items, compare it against the policy even before you have submitted the claim. And again, one other advantage of using a system which is live and real, even for finance team, is that they get real-time centralized view rather than waiting for the month end and get data from all the different systems into one place. And again, this is a very broad summary of how our systems work. So we are multi-cloud. AWS is where our systems run, and we have changed the capture using BigQuery systems, which actually get in all the data. We do all the warehousing here, create all the data models here, which also run every 4 hours. And all of this information, when the question is being asked, is supplied to the AI model along with the question and the context to get the most accurate information out. So this, in short, is the architecture, and why I have built it this way is to show that simplicity and explainability is also a very important thing whenever you are building any solution for finance team. Like you should be able to explain that why something happened the way it happened. Amazon has no model hosted in Singapore, zero model. If you want an model as a service in Amazon, they will ask you to deploy it in their own compute, which is extremely expensive. It will at least be $1,000 or so per day. Maybe this was one of the last slide. Again, I don't want to hold you guys, from your lunch. So you look at this receipt. We have very few people anyways in the room. Can you guys guess what is the currency of this receipt? Because as you can imagine, currency for a financial transaction is the most important thing. If you look at this receipt, what is the currency of the receipt? Okay, anyone else? Okay, Singapore dollar. Anyone else? Like when you look at the receipt, what currency do you see, and what currency do you think this receipt is in? USD. Anyone else? So you are from Singapore. That's why you know that Changi Bismarck is in Singapore. But if someone who is not from Singapore, how will this person know that this is from Singapore? I mean, the reason why I'm emphasizing, a bit on this is exactly what we solve with AI models. If you take any OCR, like a lot of, cloud native solutions, it will actually read this dollar and it will say it is a USD. But actually, when you have AI and when your AI is connected to your data warehouse using the past transactions and looking at the address, looking at the name, looking at the GST registration number, in real time, it can call the API of Singapore business registration data and tell that this is actually a registered business in Singapore. And within 5 seconds, actually tell you that this dollar is actually Singapore dollar, not US dollar. And this is what basically the crux of the solution that we are selling. Like it might seem very simple thing that many humans can guess. And to be honest, he's the only one who gave the right answer. Most of the times when we show this, like most of them actually say this is a USD because there is no S dollar. It is only dollar mentioned here. I even have a live example here. I'm not sure if it will work, but it is not working here. But if anyone of you is curious, I have the live example here. If you have your own receipt, I can demo how does this whole thing work. Yeah, actually that was it from my side. My 15 minutes are over. So the last thing, one quick thing is I always give the analogy of Groot and Superman, and maybe to end the session, let me ask you, like, how many friends do you think Groot has? Anyone? Like, do you guys know who's Groot? This guy? A Guardians of Galaxy? So mostly this guy works very well together. He's not very well known. He's not very well known, but he takes care of a much bigger area than New York that this guy looks at. But this guy is very famous. Basically, what I'm trying to tell here is that what you hear in the market is mostly about this guy. Use Llama model, use ChatGPT, use this amazing Snowflake technology. But what you don't realize is that Snowflake does not connect to any AI model. Snowflake does not come with data ingestion. So you will have to build and build and build and buy all the superheroes, like very expensive softwares with you, and ultimately one day your manager will say, hey, your AI is so costly, what is the ROI? And then we all know what is going to happen. Versus this guy, not very well known. This is almost like the Gemini, and I'm telling you from practical example, next time you go to NTUC for your supermarket, be assured that there was a Gemini behind. Whenever NTUC is actually even labeling products, most of the times it is happening from Gemini. So Gemini, most of the times, is the Groot guy that you don't know of, but is working very well with the big queries of the world, with the ML models of the world, with all the programming language and all. So again, my summary here is, don't go for best in class. Maybe go with a platform which can help you expand your solution. AI is not an individual technology. No one has an AI company. AI is solving the problem in your company. So until you choose a platform, until you choose a technology which works with the rest of your stack, you are never going to be successful in implementing it, no matter how expensive the tool was or how good your team was. Yep, that was all. Thank you for, yep.
So instead of Snowflake, use Databricks. Databricks can do everything, right? That's one. Second question, which is more important. So are you suggesting that Google Cloud is a better option for AI applications compared to Amazon AWS? Throw some light on that.
Sure. I will answer both. AWS is not APAC or Singapore friendly. AWS is good for traditional companies, as one of the earlier presenters was also saying. You want to lift and shift. You had 10 machines in your local, and you said, hey, I want to move cloud. You have the 10 machines in cloud. AWS is best for it. AWS models are not available. If you want to use AWS for AI, they will ask you to deploy some other model into their compute, which most of the companies don't want, because when you do that, you will have to maintain the model, you have to maintain the machines, you cannot optimize it. So AWS, as a fact, is a failure. In the current days, whenever even, there was an AWS conference last week. They're not even talking about the core problem, that why they don't have an AI model in Singapore. So according to me, AWS has already lost the game long back. Not on AI, on compute. Yes, on AI, they are the smallest one. On AI, Google, then you have Azure, then you have Alibaba, then you have Tencent, then you have DigitalOcean, and then you have AWS, which is the last. And yes, again, Databricks standalone is a beautiful software. It does not have a BI layer. It does not have a visualization layer. It does not even have a change data capture capability. As in standalone, it is a Superman. But do you want a Superman? That is a choice, right? Like most of the times when you are having an independent AI model, it is not going to support your independent AI model, because it will force you to use its own AI model. And that's what basically, again, is about the investment, it is about the flexibility and getting the work done at the end of the day. If you can, because that is the only cloud provider which is Singapore friendly. And it is not just me saying, like any startup here, even banks, even AI Singapore, that is the reason why AI Singapore is built on Google Cloud. So, if we don't, that is also one thing that I say, like I come from companies which have a very small budget, and if we don't get friendly cloud providers, then we won't have a company. Like if we all think about go to AWS and we will hire 10 DevOps and they will have 10,000 machines deployed and there will be people to patch the machine, that's a very different ball game, which maybe banks can afford, but smaller companies cannot. Of course. Of course. No, no, of course. I mean, I'm being very specific about the AI model. If you go to Azure and you look at their AI models, it is 1 year behind the OpenAI on which it was built on, the chat GPT models. So from our experiences, the holistic platform, again, I'm not from Google, I'm telling from my own experience. I have used Azure, I have used AWS, I have used Tableau, I have used Google Cloud. But most of the startups that I know of are using Google for the sole purpose that it is the only company, only cloud provider which is Singapore friendly. I mean, best also depends on if you have model available locally. No other cloud provider even have a model available locally. I mean, a very wide question, right? Like, for what purpose? Like, what is your current tool stack? Yeah. You want to use model as a service or you want to deploy your own model? Yeah, then there's no advantage on Google Cloud. Then when you say you are deploying your own model, you basically need compute. You basically need cheaper machines. Then there is no other option than Google. It is not about 1, 2, 3. There is no other option. Right? So uh, if you, again, I was hearing a lot of presenters. We assume that when people say AI, then you will download Llama model from Facebook and then you will install in your compute and run. It is extremely expensive to run it. And most of the people at smaller startups or middle-sized companies do not do that at all. Cool. Thank you for listening to me. And if you guys have any question, if this was of interest, I'm here. Feel free to ask any question. Thank you.